Alright, my good people, we have a video on the Dram Diaries full-size mini barrels, okay? So this one is how do I assemble them with a new lid and a new barrel, and also what do I do to remove an old lid so that I can take it out, char it, and put that new side back down in there and get another use out of it. So here we go. What I'm doing first, hopefully this works good. I record all these with my iPhone, so if it messes up, I'm sorry. I'm taking my putty knife and I'm just kind of going to go around like this. Remove the old wax. So, yeah. Now I just got my other container, my old container wax. I just put it in there, and if you run out, you can reuse this. I've actually done that, and it works pretty good. So now that I got a lot of the wax out of there, like the big pieces, what I'm going to do. So I've got my scrap piece of wood, right? Got a hole drilled in it. I've got my cabinet screw, 3-inch cabinet screw for screwing a cabinet to a wall, and I've got like a fender washer there. And I am just going to kind of put this in the center. Now, if your lids may have the hole in the center, you can just push this off to the side of the hole a little bit, 3/4 to an inch, and it will pull this thing out. You could put it right here and it will pull this lid out. I just happen to put it in the middle, roughly by eye. Okay, and watch, you'll see that lid start to come up. No sweat, just like that. See that? You can see I've got the old lid pieces that I cut in half, and I charred the side that wasn't charred in there. Let me set this out of the way. So now, pull this screw out. Just like that. Okay. So, we do have a little screw hole, but that's okay because this is one of the ones that I had routed, and you can see there's holes from the screws that I used to use to screw my template down, right? It's fine. What you can do, this hole, you can go ahead and char this other side if you want to, or not. I'm going to start doing some lids, aging some whiskey with a lid that's not charred. You can just scrape any excess wax off of here, like so. And then if you char it, that wax is just going to burn. It'll be fine. But you can just push wax down into that screw hole on both sides once you've charred that side and put it back down in. So now I'm going to show you how I do that. So I'll pause this for a minute. Okay, so I got my new barrel, right? If you want to reuse the old one, obviously just empty it. I rinse it out, and I just take the putty knife again, and I just run it around the inside like that, and that's it. Put it back on. It'll work great. The wax isn't going to hurt anything. Now, I purposely am using, this is a lid. I wanted to show you, if you can see that, it's got a little divot, a little gajingus there. Something happened when I was making it, and that's not going to matter, actually, when I use this. So, I'll show you. This is the barrel wax on the link. Okay. To fix that little spot, I'm just going to get a little bit here on the putty knife. And I'm just going to kind of put it in like this. Okay. Sorry. I'm looking at what I'm doing, not the video. Hopefully you could see that. I'm just kind of putting that on flat. I'm not going like this way, because if I went this way, the knife would dig back down in. So I'm just kind of going flat like that so it rides on both of these surfaces. So we got that. So at this point you can either put your whiskey in right now, or you can do it later with a funnel through the hole. That's what I'm going to do in this case. So I'm also going to just take like this, some of the wax on my finger. Okay, this is now what I'm going to be doing to apply it. I'm just going to put a little bit, there's some rough spots just from drilling it out. It's not as clean as routing, but it's way faster, so, and it works the same. Alright, I think I'm good. If you want, you can go ahead and put wax around this whole edge. So, I'm not going to, but I'm just showing you what you can do. So, now, I'm just going to go like this, set it down in there. I'm going to push that thing down in. Kind of equally put it down in there. It's pretty snug. I could probably pound on it and get it in there further. I don't want to do that. You can see it's maybe 5/8 of an inch down in from this lip. Okay. So now you can see that chamfered edge, right? All I'm going to do is take this, and this is cold. This has been sitting in the garage. You could warm it up, I guess, if you wanted to. So hopefully you can see this. I'm trying to watch what I'm doing. But just like if you're tooling caulking, right? Just do that. Got the wax on my finger. Kind of tool it down in there. You know, and once you've got the whiskey in here, you know, obviously I age these with them sitting on their side like this, so that the whiskey is touching the oak, and as it ages or evaporates, it's always in contact with the oak. I don't put it upside down because I just don't do that. I think it would emulate a barrel more so when it's sitting on its edge like this. So what I'll do is for like the first week, I'll just leave it in the garage in a tub, and I'll keep an eye on it to see if there's any spot that is leaking. And if there is, I will just stand it upright, dry it off, get some more barrel wax, push it down in there. I do apologize if you can't see it too well, but I'm trying to look at what I'm doing here. So you can kind of see, I'm just going to scoop this extra stuff out of here. Like that. Put that back into the little container. Okay. So, off my fingers. You can kind of see what that looks like, right? You got that wax on that joint, pretty good. I mean, if you want to, like this little bit of extra wax that's on the oak, if you want, you can go like this and get it out of the way. I have not done that before, and I've had no problem with this aging. Now, I'm just reusing one of the old dowels, but, you know, you can see how far. I wouldn't put it any further than that. You can see where it would have stopped, right? It's like a 1/4 inch, maybe. Otherwise, it's tough to get out. This one, though, is wet because I just pulled it out, so this one might not go in. I might have to get a brand new one that's dried out. Oh, there we go. I'm getting it in. Okay, I'm just going to tap it a little bit. There we go. You can see I tapped that in there, right? A new one, a dry dowel is going to go in a little bit easier. Then what I would do, I'll just do it to this one, even though I'm going to have to redo it because I haven't filled it with whiskey yet. I will just put a little bit of wax around this guy, like so. Seal it up. And then, like, if you go to test this, let's say after a month or 2 months, so you can pop this out, test, pour some of your whiskey out, push this back in, and I just kind of push the wax that's already there up around it, and it seemed to work for me. You just got to keep your eye on it. So, but that's basically what I do, and then it just ages sitting on its side like that in the tub with other ones, and so they don't roll around. I have not rotated them 180 every so often. My thoughts were, if you are going to reuse the lid without taking it out and charring the other side again, if you just want to do like another whiskey in here, I would mark the top, draw an arrow right there, so you know that's the top with your first aging. And when you empty the whiskey, you put your next bourbon in there, put that arrow down, then it's going to have more contact with more oak that has flavor in it as it goes down. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so now you're ready to go. You know how to put them together. You know how to remove the lid. I am going to say, with these lids, you can comfortably get 4 uses. Okay, so this is a used lid. You got your first use. I am going to refill this lid with another whiskey. Like I said, draw an arrow that shows which side was up when you were doing your initial aging. Your whiskey is only going to come, it might be down at this level when you newly fill it. And as it ages, if you are where it's hot, or even where you have a temperature fluctuation, like, in the winter, our house is probably around 60, give or take a little bit at night, because we turn all the heat off, and during the day, where I have these upstairs, it's got to be probably 70, low 70s. So there's this daily fluctuation in temperature. Now, that way, as the whiskey ages, it comes down like this. Less of this oak was imparting flavor to the whiskey. All of this oak down here was. So if you then rotate it, guess what? You've got the more the used oak at the top, and so you're getting more use out of it. There you go. That's why I'm saying you can comfortably get 4 uses. I've done some where I have had 3 different spirits in the same barrel, and by the 3rd time, it does have an effect. It's just not as pronounced. Like, you would need to leave it in there for a longer time, more than probably 2 months, if you want like a very noticeable effect. If you're putting in like a white spirit, like a Blanco tequila, you'll notice a difference, or a very delicate scotch, you're going to notice a difference. But if you're trying to do a bourbon like a 3rd time, you're going to need to leave it in there a little bit longer. So, again, it's just a piece of wood. I don't know, I think if I cut these right, I could fit these into the boxes that I mail these lids out in a screw with a washer, so you could do that. But I mean, you can pick it up, it's not too difficult. Barrel wax. Now this is the old lid. This particular lid, these, if you can see the difference, they were both done at 400 degrees. You see the color difference? This one, I roasted it for 2 hours in the oven. The oven was set to roast. This one, the oven was set to toast, or not toast, bake for 2 hours. There's a big difference. This one, if you put it on roast, either at 285 or 400, you're going to get deeper, richer, darker flavors. Think of like an espresso roast coffee. And I found that the whiskeys that I age in this, on their own, they're very good. They just have a very distinct, heavy, toasted oak, deep molasses, dark brown sugar flavor that they carry to them. But man, they work awesome in old fashions and Manhattans. Like, they are killer. Also, if you do like a 50-50 blend of what came out of the barrel that had like a lid with the oven set to roast for 2 hours, this one had benchmark bonded. All right, so if I did a pour of half of the benchmark bonded that came out of this mini barrel and half standard benchmark bonded. It's wonderful. You can almost think of this as like a concentrate in a way, you know, if you want to. So keep that in mind when you go ahead and you can tell, like, once you've got your uses out of your local lids, you can tell I put some back down in there. They do add some flavor. So I am going to be doing a lot more with the oven set to bake at 2 hours. I think I prefer that flavor for the most part. There's a few bourbons I think I prefer this way. I will get into that in another video. But there you go. So also, I'm going to be having in the links or in the descriptions of, I'm going to try and do it to all our videos if I get around to it, just a Google Doc where you has all the information on what to do if you want to get these lids. Initially I was just saying, you know, I was going to do 4 at a time, but if you want to just try it out, I realize some of you might not, you know, want to shell out that money for 4 lids if you don't want to make them yourself. I will sell 1 lid as well. The shipping is just the same, so keep that in mind. It's going to be a little bit not as good of a overall deal, right? But at least you could try it out. And I decided to do some lids toasted and charred, and then you can also get the lids with no toast or char so that you can do that at home. There's also links in that Google Doc to the other videos of what I did, you know, to make the lids and the toasting, you know, pretty much all the information you're going to need. And, you know, as prices of oak, if they change, you know, the price of the lid will change, or if I find a quicker way to make them, which I'm always working on, like efficiency, then, you know, that'll affect the price as well. But I'm just letting you know. But if you just want to make them yourself, the videos are there. You can do it. It is well worth it. Okay. Any questions or comments, let me know. All right. I'm just sharing this journey as I do it, you know, as I'm learning, as I'm going, and I will share what I learn. So, okay. Till next time, and get to aging in those full-size mini barrels. It's worth it.